You know I need a super feeling.
Super, super bad, super bad, super, super
It's your man Radio Raheem, no senior partner, TrackZillas. Space Music is the record label. Here with a big guy right here, pause. Big record breaker. His name is J Boom. Jive Records National Director of Urban Promo. Major guy. Here you go right here.
What up, fellas? Right, J Boom, National Director, radio over here at Jive Records. An all-around good guy.
So, J Boom, can you tell us a little bit about what's left, what's the positive, what's the light at the end of the tunnel for the music industry, for the building, for all the aspiring music heads out there, coming from a guy of your status?
You know, I've seen the good times, and now I'm kind of living the bad times, you know, and it's really tough time in the music business. Profits are down 10, 12% year over year for, 8 to 10 years now. So in watching the upside kind of diminish over the years, I think that it's going to lead to the rise of actually better music. And the reason why I say that is because I feel like there's going to come a point where I believe that these majors are going to need to do strategic partnering with and joint ventures with entertainment companies, and I think that they're going to be less reliant upon their own A&R staff and kind of be more reliant upon these outside joint ventures to feed product into the system. And I think that it's going to be much smaller, much more streamlined kind of companies with 8 to 10 to 15 workers that are doing, publicity, promotions, marketing, product management, and it'll be a much more streamlined kind of business. And I feel like, the A&Rs here at all the majors are, they're very, there's a lot of very, very cookie cutter stuff that comes out of here, and there's a reason for that. It's because, we don't want a lot of risk, and we want to bring a huge profit. And if an act is, like a Drake, then next thing you know, you hear a million cats sound like Drake, and the A&Rs want that. And I can't lie, as a radio promoter, give me something that's in the middle of the road that I know that I have the best shot at being successful with. And I think that, as these majors start looking for partners, joint ventures, I think that the music will change. I think that the smaller companies will be willing to take more chances musically, and I think that it's going to be a good thing for music. And I think that the way music is monetized will be different. I think that we're in the business of selling these shiny silver CDs, that nobody wants to own anymore, and I mean, like, who wants to own that format? It might as well be an 8-track. I think that music will become the lost leader for the brand and building an artist as a brand. And I think that sync placement and strategic marketing, I think there's a lot of things that you can do outside of actually selling CDs. I mean, that's what we're set up to do, and I think that, I think it's going to take some strategic joint ventures with smaller developing entertainment companies to kind of bring the brand marketing to light and let the music be the lost leader.
Oh, okay. So that means the labels would be doing a lot more 360 deals, as you were saying. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, well, I think that 360 deals will definitely play a part of it going forward. I think that there needs to be these acquisition of these smaller companies. I mean, Sony and Jive in particular started Battery Records, which I was a part of for up until very, very recently, and and it's kind of that philosophy. It's very streamlined. It's 4 or 5 or 6 people that are that are at the label, and it's very streamlined, and it's very stripped down budget-wise, staff-wise, and because we kind of have to be nowadays. just given the climate and the return on your investment is not great. So you know, so every penny counts, every $100 counts, and Battery really had that philosophy, really has that philosophy, you know, under the guidance of, you know, Neil Levine.
Our partner in crime right here, Radio Raheem.
Radio Raheem, yeah. Oh,
yes.
Geez, I've known Ra for, oh my God, I don't know, probably a dozen years or more.
I think a decade.
A decade. A solid decade.
A solid decade.
12 years, right? So, and you know, the love that dude gets from the business is incredible, and you don't stick around in this game for a decade or more if people don't have love for you, and I think that speaks volumes. The fact that he's still in the business, he still does what he does, that he's still, you know, that I still let him in my office. You know? that means he doesn't owe. That means he doesn't owe me any money. It's hard to say, but so I mean, you know, I think, you know, Rod's one of, you know, and he's a veteran. You know, he's a veteran guy in the game, and with a lot of knowledge that came up under. You know, a lot of great tutelage under a lot of people that have done, you know, great things. With Renee McLean and RPM and all the great things that Renee was able to do, and a real trendsetter.
Big Show Power.
Yeah, Big Show Power.
Big Show Magazine.
This was all real. This guy, you know, this guy was, you know, Renee was a real trendsetter, and Raheem was, you know, really his right hand right there to really make sure that all those things became as successful as they were, you know, and so I got, you know, and he doesn't owe me anymore.
Yeah. So what would you advise to a you know, a marriage that we have, which is him being a radio label, been all over the place, and us having the capabilities with the music production and having our own production group / working on the label.
Mama, I'm breaking out of that radio side.
Yeah, radio side.
Straight music executive.
His experience, which is an asset.
Yes, an asset.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that, you know, I think.
I still use it though.
Yeah, of course, and you always will, as long as there's a radio station to play a record, you know, and I get that. And I think that, you know, strategically, you guys are in a position to think outside the box, and it's not so cookie cutter. And if you guys, the more, you know, outside the box that you guys can be and allow yourself to expand on the foundation that's kind of already been laid, and I think that, you know, the playing field has been leveled with obviously the advent of the internet now, being, you know, broadband and the capabilities of broadband. So I think that, you know, the playing field has been leveled, and one of the things that majors have always done well, and that everybody wanted to get a deal with the majors, was for their distribution, is getting that pipeline into the stores. Well, now that field is leveled with, you know, with the advent of digital distribution. So I think that, you know, and this goes for anybody that is, you know, starting a new venture or in a new venture. I mean, if you can be strategic and cutting edge, you can really make a good business out of it. And I think that the climate now allows for that. I mean, it used to be, there was a day where it was like, it was radio or bust, and now you see guys like Mickey Fax and Currency and Big Crit and Wiz, and these guys have had big internet buzzes. You know, I can remember Raheem and myself too, holding up picket signs, you know, of the latest artist of the month, you know, in front of such and such club. I mean, and now you look at the reach that the internet has. I mean, you know, where we would reach maybe 500 people or 1,000 people that were going into that club that night. The reach that the internet has, I mean, it's boundless. It's boundless. So, I mean, and the people that can figure out how to master that, and you look at what, you know, like I said, like what a cat like Mickey Fax has done, a cat like Currency, who's got no radio record, but sold 14,000 or 15,000 first week was his numbers. Like, you know, and this is this is just tour, you know, internet, throwing records out, mixtape, you know, and that's a good number. And then we start talking about, not having to pay a label, and you can take all that as profit, and then he turns around and parlays it into Warner Brothers.
Then look at what Wiz Khalifa did.
Wiz Khalifa, the same thing. So I think that, you know, the playing field is leveled as far as the distribution pipeline, and I think that a lot of the good music now, and another cat that I want to give mad I to is Dame Dash with Creative Control, and that kind of vibe of what they have going on. It's like, I think that I know there's a real business to be made there, and I think that I'm looking forward to more Dame Dashes, more Creative Controls kind of popping up, and I'm very hopeful for music, for hip hop music in particular.
Amen. That was a great interview.
Right on.
Great insight.
Right on.
Man, this is a consulting fee. We owe him some money.
Yo.
Wow.
This man right here was just preaching, man.
Oh my goodness.
No preaching.
Yeah.
Just, you know,
You need an extra incentive for your brain up in here. Your verbiage.
Right on, brother.
That's 20 years of doing this shit from the outside and inside.
Absolutely.
You see a lot of shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So best bet, once we got an artist and we got something together, which we do, come through the A&R process. Besides the independent stuff.
I would say build it, because at the end of the day, man, unless it's really humming, you're not gonna get what it's worth.
Yeah,
You're not
get
gonna
it humming.
Your advance isn't gonna be that much anymore, you know. And it's like, I mean, and you look at a guy like Currency who does 180 dates a year. He does 180. I'm sure he does 180. I'm sure.
Out of a 365 day.
Yeah, I'm sure he's
So half the year
he's doing shows. And I don't know what he's getting, but I would imagine that he gets 3,000 to 5,000 a show.
Yeah, and I don't mean to cut you off. Look what Nicki Minaj did and Drake did.
Exactly.
They beat the circuit.
And those might be more aberrations than the norm, and that's the real super duper high end. But you look at a cat like a Currency, man, like, yo, dude, you know, if he does 100 dates a year at 3,500 a show, that's some real cheddar. You know what I'm saying? It's some real cheddar. So, and it's like, and to be able to do that without a radio single, without a video on 106 in Park, you're not in the top 10, like, yo, that's real
big,
business.
That's big.
And then the cat that can say, okay, well, I'm gonna fund 5 of those guys.